Hey everybody, we're going to take a quick look at some femoral muscles. Um, we're calling them femoral muscles because they're by the femur. It doesn't necessarily mean that they originate or insert on the femur, although most of them do. Some of them are hip muscles, some of them are knee muscles, but they're all kind of near the femur. So we're going to cover them here in this video. So we'll start off with what gets called your hamstrings. Um, but we're going to actually go through and name them individually. So we're going to start off with the biceps femoris, and this is the long head here. We may actually have to hide it to see the short head, which is underneath. You can see it attaching down on the fibula actually, and that's a good thing to remember. The biceps femoris, long head and short head, are lateral, so they attach. They both attach on the fibula. So when you're doing a quiz or something and you see an X right here, well, the biceps femoris looks somewhat similar to the other hamstrings, which are semimembranosus and semitendinosus. So you can't rely on how it looks alone. You have to rely on its location. So biceps femoris long head and short head, right here underneath, is lateral. All right. And then we have the semitendinosus and semimembranosus. A lot of times these get called the hot dog in the bun because in a real cadaver, the semitendinosus kind of fits inside membranosus like a bun. It doesn't look quite that way on the model. So just remember semitendinosus is more superficial, and also it has more of this, long skinny tendon versus membranosus does not. So again, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, long head of biceps femoris, and short head of biceps femoris. This has a similar name to your biceps brachii in your arm, and it has two heads, which is why it's called biceps. So on a quiz, make sure you say biceps femoris for these muscles and biceps brachii for the other muscles in your arm. All right, so our next muscle is Sartorius. This is the longest muscle in the body. It originates up here in your ASIS, way up there in your ilium, and inserts on a portion of what's called your pes anserinus, which is on your medial tibia. So it's tough to mistake this one. It crosses from this lateral origin over to a medial insertion all the way down on your tibia. That does flexion, abduction, and external rotation of your hip. So it's primarily a hip muscle, but it contributes to knee extension as well, I believe. Knee flexion. Rectus femoris is the first of our quadriceps. So here's rectus femoris. You've probably heard the term quads, the anterior thigh muscles. Rectus femoris is right in the middle and inserts at the base of the patella and originates at the iliac notch up here. Lateral to that, we have vastus lateralis, and medial to that, we have vastus medialis. So that doesn't add up to 4. We're looking for 4, right? So rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, and vastus medialis. We actually have to hide rectus femoris, and there's vastus intermedius right there. Pay attention to how that looks a little bit different. Okay, because on a quiz, I'd hate for you to see this image and just assume that when I put an X here, that I'm talking about rectus femoris because it's in the middle. So learn that difference in appearance between those two. Rectus femoris lies on top of vastus lateralis and vastus medialis. If you see a muscle that's sort of in between and below, that's going to be vastus intermedius. All right, so these are all knee extensors, all of your quads. If you've ever done squats or something with heavy weight, you felt the pain here in this area. These are very powerful knee extensors. Our next set of muscles are medial here, and most of them are actually hip adductors. I believe all of them. We'll see as we go through the list. So this first one is called gracilis. It looks a lot like Sartorius, so be careful. It has a medial origin, though, and a medial insertion, actually right next to Sartorius. It doesn't cross over the front of the leg like Sartorius does. So that's easy to make a mistake between those two. It's a hip adductor, and it's a very long and skinny hip adductor. The rest of them look a little bit different. I'm going to hide some stuff so we can see in here. And there you go. You see two. Okay, yeah, I thought that would be a hamstring. Yeah, so we see two, and actually there's one up here. Three powerful hip adductors. This might be covered in another video. We'll see as we go through the list. So we already covered gracilis and hit it. Our next muscle, oh no, it is right here. Our first muscle is pectineus. Pectineus. So you remember all these parts of the pecten pubis, the pubic crest. So this is your pubic bone, and there's actually a pectineal line on your femur. I don't remember if we covered it in our video, but it does originate at the pubis and attach to the femur and is a hip adductor. It's called pectineus. Our next is adductor longus. And if you see a longus, you may suspect that there's a brevis. And there it is. It's pretty small. So let's hide pectineus. It's a better view. Adductor brevis. You guys are going to have to really rely a lot on visualization and taking little mental photographs of these images, okay? I will do my best to hide as little as possible, but obviously in this case, if adductor brevis is tagged, we're going to need to hide some things. So I will do my best to. The problem is I can't highlight like this because then you see. I wonder if I can hide this. I don't think so. So I'm gonna have to remove pectineus here. So just please appreciate the difference between pectineus and adductor brevis. Okay, pectineus sits on top of adductor longus and brevis. So if you're looking at this and you see that this is tagged, you can see that that's not sitting on top of adductor longus. Okay, I know that's going to be tough. Anyway, so adductor longus, adductor brevis, pectineus. Pectineus has a much higher origin as well, so that may or may not be helpful to you guys. You can see, let's actually look at the brevis. Origin is much, much lower versus pectineus is way up here on this ridge. Okay, so our next muscle is adductor magnus. So this is our biggest adductor. Let's hide some stuff here. There it is. Look at its insertion. Its insertion is basically the whole medial femur. Let's look at it. This would actually be a good way to tag the adductors on the quiz, like this. Pectineus is hidden, but you can see brevis, longus is gone. This is your gracilis. Let's get rid of that. You can really see Magnus. Now, don't confuse Magnus with hamstrings. So that's actually Semimembranosus. Magnus has a very unique look. If you look at it, it has this big hole right here, number one. And it kind of has two distinct insertions. One here, and then one way down here on your adductor tubercle. Not quite on your actually no, it is on your adductor tubercle. Let me double check that. Insertion is adductor tubercle of femur, yes, okay. And then as well as the linea aspera, which is a part of your posterior border of your femur. Okay, I'm hoping you guys have seen this from enough angles that you could do well here. Let's just do a quick recap of the adductors. So gracilis is this long, skinny one here. I'll hide it. I'll get rid of Sartorius as well. And then we have pectineus. Beneath pectineus, we have adductor brevis, longus, which is the longer of the two, when in doubt. So here's brevis and longus. And then behind both of those is adductor magnus, which is this big muscle. And I'll try to hide vastus medialis so you can see the split insertion of adductor magnus. All right. That's it for the femoral muscles, you guys. Thanks for watching.